Good morning, good afternoon, evening, whatever time frame you're on. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, imhotep, etc., etc. This is my book. I left untitled by me, Abdul, qawiy, Phillippe, all titles by me, Abdul, qawiy, Phillippe, edited by me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever particular time frame you're on. What happened when I declare my nationality is self-explanatory. However, I take injection at Kings County. While on my travels, people suffer for all forms of slavery. Not only mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, etc. However, I'm not utilizing scapegoatism. Nobody will get a copy of this book because they're delusional hypnosis, psychosis. They cannot fathom the spectrum of the Creator. Finite things cannot overstand infinity. I give you an example. Noble Drew Ali gave them the divine and national movement, as well as Master Farad Muhammad, who is better known as Abdul Muhammad Ali. He's also a Bey. He also Ali. They also had all titles. But do they know that? Will these niggas talk about that? No, they will not. They can't. The Sultan gave them the treaties and signed with the indigenous people. I am not making this up, ladies and gentlemen. Study Beethoven. I said Beethoven, B-E-Y-V-N. Also Mozart. Moab. Caesar, Latin for haircut. When Tupac declared his nationality, it was Machiavelli. When Donna Haunton declared her nationality, it was Aaliyah. When Miss Knowles declared her nationality, it was Bey. Can they talk about this? No, they cannot. When York declared his nationality, it was Il or El. Can they talk about this? No, they cannot. In fact, the first letter in Arabic is Alif. What is the title? Can they talk about this? No, they cannot. So what are the scholars talking about? Antagonists or protagonists? The flower-phi ratio, 1.896782. Study the flower of life and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's in all the history textbooks, including the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the holy tablets, but they cannot talk about this publicly. Even the clothes is indigenous. Can they talk about this? No, they cannot. So while on my travels, I noticed something. On the 5th floor of this museum, which is in St. John, is a statue of Shiva, which is Morris Hindi for Scorpio. However, on the same floor is a picture of Ra, which is the sun god. In the right-hand corner is Isis, the moon goddess. See the crescent, the star, same thing. Isis. Can they talk about this? No, they cannot. While scholars argue pure rubbish and rhetoric about agreeable or disagreeable, they live off the sand time and study the calendar, which is Morris Latin for the zodiacal years. On the 3rd floor, there were several statues. One and furniture and supplies. Cicero in 1702 to 1692, minus that and see what you get, went under another pen name, after the fall of Rome. While in the museum, I noticed the inscription of the pharaohs. Can they talk about this? No, they cannot. Do I have to give you my mathematics on this? No, I do not. Because you're acting like I'm talking poor rubbish, like I didn't read all these books and look right into the Creator in myself. When I told the guy at the front desk that I'm indigenous, he immediately asked me for a donation. I gave him 3 pennies that I saved. Immediately he gave me a ticket to the 3rd floor, and once you arrive on the 3rd floor, it's indigenous people. A quarter to the east and north, south, in the middle is all Moorish flags. Can they talk about this publicly? No, they cannot. And on the front side of the door in the indigenous section on St. John's Museum, it says, enter at your own risk. Do they know it's a tomb? No, they do not. And even if they do, can they talk about this publicly? No, they cannot. Prices fluctuate. Is Moorish Latin for lizard is leap year, where prices fluctuate in the skyrockets in stores, etc., etc. Who else declared their nationality? If they want to say it's just something a man wrote. Tamron Hall, Queen Latifah, Renita, or who else? MC Light. I could go on and go on. Shahrazad Ali. How many females said it was a book a man wrote and they declared their nationality too? Can they talk about this publicly? No, they cannot. Do they talk about this publicly? Of course they do. However, I noticed the museum was 1.489, 16 inches north to leaf left to Mataponi headdress. Can they talk about this publicly? No, they cannot. South and east, that was Mataponi, not Matawa, correction. The second one I seen, south and east, is Matawa's indigenous clothing. Can they talk about this publicly even if they knew it? No, they cannot. On the 3rd floor is a statue of the picture of Afara and Tefnu. What I noticed is Afara and Tef is in a calendar in Kemet in Nubia. Can they talk about this publicly even if they knew? No, they cannot. Tamorea, which is 13 sun and a 13 moon, which equals 26 in Mayet. The 2 days represents Amoris, or American's calendar. Anu in Mayet, which is in Mayet is the sun. Risis, while Isis represents the moon, Risis represents the sun. The moon is the counter. That part, the part when they said Sheba was ugly, is false. That means it was more than one Sheba, more than one Cleopatra. Do they know that? No, they do not. But they talk about all these multi-universes and everything existed in one continent at once, and things were destroyed because of the continental drift. I could go on and on. And Kemet represents the rising vertical equinox, which is Re, which is Bay in Morris Latin. 6.5 miles, 1.5 tons, 2.295 inches, 3.7925 inches. A quarter, which is 25. A half and a half, which is one whole. Then when you put that over one, is 1.896592. The connection between Moorish science and Kemet is galactic science. If they knew that, could they talk about this publicly? No, they cannot. And Kemet science is the lock and key. The Moorish science, it symbolizes the phoenix and a snake in Scorpio. On my travels, I experienced when I came across the Hip Hop Museum in 23rd Street. It was empty until I went there and imagined this was a hip hop and rap gems and jewels and monuments sitting currently on this continent. That means before these niggas said that they was DJs in other countries and all that, it was already here. Do they know that? And even if they did know that, could they talk about it publicly? No, they cannot. Do they? Of course they do. They'll deny it all they want to. There were outfits in there that was indigenous to this land, for male and females. Do they know that? No, they do not. The producer was from the legendary group for Naughty by Nature. He interviewed him. They didn't say his name. I wonder why. Most artists and MCs follow rap algorithms as well as producers and engineers and agents and publicists. However, I don't follow the exact formula. Cats, like Most Def, Rhyme Fest, rhyme 15 seconds for one bar. Kenneth Peter rhymes 46 seconds while using 16 bar formula. Sean Carter uses 50 seconds to complete 16 bars pattern. Tupac Shakur uses 60 seconds to complete 16 bars. Christopher Wallace rhymes 61 seconds to complete 16 bars. Can these niggas do their mathematics of what they writing? No, they cannot. Nasir Jones rhymes 62 seconds to complete 16 bars. Atiba Pliskin rhymes 16.2 seconds to complete 16 bars. Lamont Coleman rhymes 17.1 seconds to complete 16 bars. Jason Taylor rhymes 18.2 seconds to complete 16 bars. Curtis Jackson rhymes 19.6 seconds to complete 16 bars. Derek Torres rhymes 19.8 seconds to complete 16 bars. I don't know why they don't know their mathematics. It's not my fault. I study myself, therefore I can study other people. If they want to study me, hey. See a different ball game? It's in my favor. I in Islam represents Isis. S in Islam represents Cyrus. Remember they said Noble Jew Ali was an Egyptian adept. However, they don't break down the science to anything they say. They want you to follow pure rubbish and rhetoric. L in Islam represents law. A in Islam represents Atum. M in Islam represents mastery, which is better known as Maya. Tell these niggas who saying all this, go to one of these tombs and try to escape them and see what happens to them. They won't make it out alive. Anyways, back to my point. Boaz and Jachin represents the 7 seasons, winter, summer, fall, and autumn. They think it's just 2 pillars and it represents 2 things. See how these mathematics is off and they perking pure rubbish? garbitio, and rhetoric. 2.86 for sunrise and sunset. Fall is 12.96 between sunrise and sunset. Spring is 26.7 between sunrise and sunset. Summer is 30.986 sunrise and sunset. Autumn is 50.16 between sunrise and sunset. When I traveled to the Grand Lodge on Western 23rd Street in the lobby, it was revealed to me that in pictures, the Twin Towers represents the double helix in the DNA strand. In signs of Kemet, this is the Acropolis. This is Morse Latin for Horus and Set, which represents the higher self and lower self. This was revealed by Noble Drew Ali. They called him an all-around adept. However, Noble Drew Ali and Abdul qawiy Phillippe, all titles, pass all knowledge of thyself and thy gods. However, on the floor was a picture of Mateponi, 2.196 cubics right to the third floor, which is the picture of the zodiac, Zodiacus. Skull and bones represents Tamare. In Morse Latin, it means mummification. And Frank is Morse Latin for pantry. The pantry represents the cycle harvest. And let's see, what else? Adolf Hitler in Morse Latin is organic and inorganic, which represents the Constitution. Inorganic and inorganic. This represents nationhood. When Roosevelt and FDR was in office, the Sharif traveled armed and immediately gave them the gold and silver backed with Federal Reserve notes to Prince Euro Bay. Homelessness in Morse Latin is to replenish the earth. Succubus in Morse Latin is for shower. This represents cleanliness. When I traveled to the Museum of Natural History after my appointment in Kings County, I noticed, I shall elaborate. In the Asian section was several things written in Arabic. However, there was only one tar bush. One of the things written was translated to Noble Drew Ali, Master Farad Muhammad, which is Abdul Muhammad Ali, Ahsoka, Confucius, Buddha, Yeshua. They considered them as prophet in Arabic, which was written in all forms of languages. However, I don't consider this because there's only one, which is the Creator alone. While in watching the new Clint Eastwood movie, I observed, called Westwood, it reveals the blindfold and pretends they have the light, and the unblindfolded pretends they have the darkness. In each holy text, it reveals this. The long latitude of Taurus, Scorpio, Virgo, Libra, Gemini, Sagittarius, and the seven seas is 1,608,292. Down to the middle, left, and forward. The longitude and latitude of the seven planets is 1.86 million kilometers per inches. The long and latitude of the seven shores of the land is 1.2,900,096 trillion miles per block. The long and latitude of the 7 galaxies is 1 trillion gazillion 7,882,086,856 miles per square root. The vertical cross of the Vatican represents the Moorish Empire. The chevalier represents the 4 pillars of the swastika, as well as the symbol for Christ, the cross, the 4 corners of salvation, which needs to replenish the land, the air, the sea. The high and low table represents Camelot. I could go on and on and on again. These people don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're looking at. You can read all the books they want, and they don't know what they're looking at. The circle of life represents Baal, or Re, which is the sun god, which is the vertical equinox. In the movie entitled Sakura, you see Temujin making salat, which is translated in Moorish Latin as a better outcome harvest. Temujin is Moorish Latin for herbal specialist. In the Old Testament of the Bible, it says in Genesis 1:3:1 to 2:11, in section 7, the Lord formed the man of dust, and correlates to the movie Predator and Alien, which represents the higher self and lower self. And its breath into the nostrils, which represents ghusl in Arabic. It is cleanliness. In Maya, it represents white, which is purity. In the video game StarCraft, it represents the Tadarim. Keep that. When you go to the video games, it's even in the video games. There's no hiding nothing. If it's in the video games, it's in everything. The CDs, everything. Even the streams. Even these plants. Even when you go in the store. So it's no hiding nothing. It's right in plain sight. The history of to refuse medical treatment. An opinion, I give one opinion. I'll go on and on. This is just the beginning of this book. I'm going to keep going. Union Pacific Railroad, which was a Moorish sister who was driving the train before Harriet Tubman existed. They say Harriet Tubman didn't exist. She did exist, but her name wasn't Harriet Tubman. Her name was Elizabeth. That's another story. Anyways, the Union Pacific Railroad code was Box Ford 141 US 25221, 1891. This sister was driving a train and she was injured in the accident, and she repaired her own wounds, and she refused medical treatment. She suffered from a rail concussion resulting from negligence of the railroad, and was denied payment, and was later compensated because what? Her nationality. They won't tell you that though. No right is more sacred or more carefully guarded by common law than the right of every individual to control his or own person, free from all restraints and all interference of others, unless by clear, unquestionable authority, which is the Creator. And I don't have to say anything. They don't let me take my Hajj. It's just between me and the Creator. Al-Hajj, Abdul, Al-Qawiy, all titles, Muhammad, Sharif. They don't want to let me take my Hajj. Oh well. Article 1, Moorish governing body, responsibility. We the people created this constitution as a central guide for governing we the people of living Moorish American nation. Native titles as the gathering of nations. Everyone is entitled to a nationality that encompasses the body of 12 entrusted knowledge of the natural law of the zodiac under forces that govern the law of cause and effect. Article 2. I could go on and on. They think they can use a book. Most of the things I get is much different from their books. My books is different from their books. They like this sugar-coated shit, not me. What did Lupe say? Dumb it down. When you dumb it down for niggas still don't understand. When you give them a better spectrum or understanding, they still don't understand. When they see money right in front of them, trillions of opportunities to make money, they still don't understand. So I don't have to get into that. Let's get back to this subject. The governing bodies entrusted in the knowledge of natural laws and understanding of the governing bodies of law and cause and effect. Constitution of birth of Morris Americans unalienable. Bay, Il, Al, Ali, De, Pasa, Allah, Allah, Yahweh. Madame Blavatsky in her book says, the secret doctrine teachings either fragmenting a dispute of incomplete or a dispute. That means these niggas was arguing about was something that was already put here in place to not only give them a house, a roof over their head, food to eat, and not even pay for the rent. But now niggas don't want that. So hey, the end of the road. That's what DMX said. They said it's because of the new generation. It's the old generation too. It is the end of the road. Why? Because they don't want me to own the house. Anyway, let me get back to this point. A dispute. This represents the circle of experts who are known to the masses to teach the masses religious dogma. In the Bible, in the Quran, in the Torah, in the Holy Tablets, it teaches no knowledge of thyself and thy God. Or, let's put this in brackets, or Ah. In Hebrew, it is Allah. In Yiddish, it's Ya'ava. Yo Yahal Allah. Yo Hiba Allah. Same thing. Just different language. They're not going to talk about that. And if they do, they're going to do it for something that's going to last temporary. This represents the wisdom of ages. In the Nation of Islam, it represents the fruit of life. The divine and national movement was created to counter the agents who want to put people on medication. However, I'm not complaining. They say I got the problem, so I'm taking medication. They say I'm schizophrenic, so I'm taking medication. Why? They don't want me to punch in on the clock. They don't want me to own a house. They don't even want me to own an apartment. So who's to blame at the end of the day? The leaders who talk about information like this behind closed doors, the people outside doors talking about this, or the people who don't want everybody to own a house and see what the fuck they can do? Give people $1 trillion, let them pay the house in full and see what the fuck they can do. See how simple that is? But niggas think like that? No, they do not. Anyways, the Divine and National Movement was created by Noble Drew Ali, Farad Muhammad, Elijah Pulley Bey, Charles Mosley Bey, John Winthrop Bey, Prince Euro Bey, and several others. Marcus Garvey Ill. Several handful of the Constitution to counter the anti-Constitution, as well as psychology mandate. Also the anti-civics and anti-history, anti-law, etc., i.e. land, air, sea. Luxor represents connections. Nubian represents old and wise. The 12 pharaohs represent the zodiac wheel. Al-Radin Rashagal, which is from StarCraft, is in the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, you name it. It means stand on your square forever. Not just when niggas test you, forever. Do niggas think like that? No. I can go on and on again. Read Surah 13 through 100. Read Psalms, chapter 18. And it's even on the temple's walls in the tombs. Now let's get into some principle that they don't have. They think they got the same documentation as me. No, they don't. Sanctioned by the precepts Anti-Maori Constitution passed by the Parliament. In preliminary meeting, it's not a club system. They already know it's not a club system. They're making it like it's a club, or you get together, somebody will write your papers and make you free. That don't make you free. How they say they make you free is what you work for, what you can gain, how you compete in commerce. I could go on and on. I already displayed that. It's not my first video. So, they playing the catch-up game. Meetings of the Imperial Majesty of the Royal Divan. May 8th, 2010. Are they talking about this? No, because they don't have this information. It's not in their books. Let's see. It just popped out of nowhere. No, it didn't. Let's see. I pulled this out my ass. No, I didn't. Nation, state, and constitution. The state shall be known as the talisman kingdom of Ultimarium, being elective constitution, monarch, embracing sovereign democratic principles, whereas the highest power in the realm, the rest of the bosom of the people of Ultimarium shall exercise the concord which this constitution as the supreme law of Ultimarium. I can go on and on, but I'm not going to get into that. That'll be in another section. Already 30 minutes in and change. Peace.